is a few things about that. I arrived in Indonesia in 2009 August. And I was asked to take over Indonesia because of certain issues that we face in Indonesia. There are two main issues that we face. Number one, there was what we call the KPPU. KPPU is what we call the anti-monopoly organization that is based in Indonesia, reporting to the government. So this KPPU is telling us in Indonesia that Carrefour, you are a monopoly. So if you are a monopoly, you have to divest some of your shares. So as maybe some of you know that Carrefour Indonesia is the #1 retailer or hypermarket in Indonesia. We have a market share of almost 18%, but we were told that our market share is 55%, which is not true. So factually, we were right, factually. But in Indonesia, we need to understand that it is not about facts. Facts are not enough. So we said that facts is one thing, perception is another thing. So we were asked to divest 30 of our stores. We have 80 over stores. We were asked to divest 30 stores. And we were asked to pay a fine of 2 million euro. And that's how I came. I was asked by head office, the board in France, to say that, can you find a solution? Because we are big there and we wanted to know if we are going to continue to expand in Indonesia or we have to sell Indonesia. So that's one of the reasons why I was brought to Indonesia. The second reason is we have been dealing in Indonesia for about 12 years and we have a competitor which is, I rather not say exactly who because it's, I see some people are taking because it's a little bit confidential. But I shall not say which company. But this company, if I tell you, you will be able to know who this company is. So, okay, it's not Xinxiong. It's not Xinxiong. Maybe just a background. We talk about the biggest retailer in the world is Walmart, right? Number 1 is Walmart. Number 2 is Carrefour. Number 3 is Tesco, because we all know that in Malaysia there is Tesco. And NTUC is not in the top 5 lah. Sorry, Xinxiong pun belum lah. Okay, lain kali. But this company is more Indonesian based. Okay, the one that is attacking us. So they have their own hypermarket chain and they wanted to take over us on an unhealthy competition. So I was just sharing this now, the time when we have been asked to stop our operation because the landlord took over the mall and they have their own hypermarket brand. So they want to replace Carrefour with this brand. And then they said, Carrefour, now your time is out, let's go. But we have still 10 years more of contract. So they said, now you have again some regulations, so you need to leave. And in fact, factually again, we did not do anything wrong, but we were asked to leave. So here we were at risk of losing about how I would say it's about 100 million euro. So it's about 200 million of Singapore dollars. Okay, around 200 million Sing dollars of business that we will lose if this company will take over our stores. So I insisted not to leave. This was another reason why I was brought there in Indonesia. So I insisted that we do not leave, which means even though they asked us to leave and they don't want us to stay, finally they switch off our electricity. You know, this kind of business is not normal, that they switch off the electricity and say you cannot do the business. And after they switched off and we didn't want to leave, what they did was they brought 300 people. I don't know, maybe Baka know from Ambon, the people from Ambon, 300 people. People from Ambon is like a fighter, you know, not like me, more like very strong. So 300 people came and put all our things outside on the street. And we are talking about a big name Carrefour. They can do that in Indonesia. They put us out on the street. We went to see the police. The police said, you are fighting with this company A, it's very, very dangerous. We cannot do anything. We go to the court. I personally was talking to the lawyer of SBY. You know SBY?
Yes.
So the president of Indonesia. His name is Amir Shamsuddin. I spoke to him. I said, Pak, can you help me? You know, he said, are you willing to go all the way? I said, what do you mean? All the way. You need to fight all the way, top, bottom, everywhere. If you are ready, then I will represent. If you are not ready, sorry, we cannot fight with this company. And I said, we are multinational. We cannot do such thing. We can fight above the table, but not under the table. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's very difficult because nobody wants to help us. I went to see many people, and they are all afraid of this company A.
What?
So these are the things that, the challenges that I face. And I don't know anyone in Indonesia. I just arrived. And maybe just because I'm a Singaporean and speak a little bit of Bahasa, so my French people said that maybe you can find a solution. So I went there, I started to get to understand the culture, and it seems that the people are very receptive. They would like to help actually. Because we speak Bahasa, we are patient to understand them. So to cut the story short, because there's long stories, these two issues came. Number one, the KPPU, the monopoly. If some of you have heard, this is similar to Temasek issue. You know, 4 years ago, Temasek was in Indonesia, Singtel and Starhub, they were inside. And they were facing the same issue of asking to divest, and finally they had to. So the case was closed. I came to meet up with the ambassador in Indonesia to ask him, Mr. Ashok, can you help me because you have best practices from Temasek? How are we going to handle those people? He said, Shafie, this is very political. We don't go near the politics. So does that mean that we are going to lose our investment? I said, I think it's better you do like Singapore, you sell and you go. But I don't think so is right. So we find many ways. And finally, I got some help from Chinese businessmen in Indonesia. I went to see some people like Anthony Salim, if you heard of it. I met Agung Podomoro, Trihatma, very high, wealthy people in Indonesia. And they told me that, you know, I don't like this company A, but I cannot fight with him in front, but I will help you behind. So I worked with them and was very kind to help me. And again, to cut the story short, February this year, the 22nd of February, we went to court and we won against the KPPU. It's the first time a foreign company won against this government, actually. It's against the government, actually, because the government is the one who formed this body. And quickly after that, they make an appeal. And just 1 week ago, we won the case again, Alhamdulillah. So we won the case at the Supreme Court. At the first was the District Court, then it was the Supreme Court. Then there could be another one, then the civil review. But it just shows again that it is not impossible. Where people think that it's impossible to win the case, where the Europeans felt that it is impossible, there's a lot of value in us, actually, especially us as Malay, Muslim. While we are here, we have to bring value, especially our neighbors are Indonesian. And they're going to get bigger and bigger. That's why I'm urging many businessmen, and we have many businessmen and businesswomen, I urge everyone to come to Indonesia to find lots of potentials and grow in Indonesia. This is our time. This is our time to grow in Indonesia. I hope in Malaysia too, we can have a chance. And the other thing that with the other company, the company A, as we fight in court, very difficult. Imagine that this company has a lot of network everywhere. You remember that I said that when we wanted to make a police report that they don't